Hey, what's going on, everybody? Somebody asked to see my deck list for my purple black Luffy, so I figured I would record something and let you guys see what's going on. So, obviously, you start with the leader. Um, with a Dawn times 1 effect, you add +1 cost to all of your characters. And then on your turn, once per turn, when 2 or more Dawn cards are returned to your Dawn deck from play, you set up to 1 Dawn as active and 1 Dawn as rested. Leader has 4 life, so you'll start with 4 life at the beginning of the game. We run 4 copies of Black Maria from OP08. Really good if you're kind of in that late game and you're down a lot of Dawn, if you've played out a Kaido or something like that, and you need to catch back up to your opponent. Otherwise, it's a fantastic 2K counter in hand. Um, so that's what it gets used for a lot, is just mostly the 2K counter. But it can help you in some of those late game situations if you're playing out a Kaido and need to get your Dawn back up quickly. Then we have 3 copies of the OP09 Sanji. On play, you may return 1 or more Dawn cards from your play to your Dawn deck. This character gains Rush, and you can rest a cost 6 or lower character. Um, Obviously, when you play this out, you're going to return the 2 Dawn if you haven't already used leader ability that turn, to go ahead and get 1 back as active and 1 more back as rested. So you're not really going down a Dawn, you're actually staying even, but you are getting that active Dawn, which you can then tack onto, a leader and swing 6, or the Sanji to swing 8. So really, really good card there. Plus, he's a 1K counter. Um, you have your 1 cost Trafalgar Law Searcher from OP09. This is a great card. You want to see this one in your first hand a lot of times, depending on what you're seeing. Um, you look at the top 4 and reveal 1 cost 2 or greater with Straw Hat, Crew, or Heart Pirate type, and you put it into your hand, and then you place the rest back at the bottom of the deck in any order. This is a really good one if you don't have like a Roronoa Zoro, or if you've already got a Zoro and you're trying to get set up for late game. Maybe you want to pull a Sanji into your hand to have ready for that third or fourth turn. So always useful to have this in hand. You almost always want to see this in your first, maybe second turn. Other than that, late game, if you're struggling to find something, you can utilize it. Otherwise, it's a 1K counter, so good to get out of some of those lower swings. Then we've got 4 of the OP09 Frankies. Really good blocker. With that on play of Dawn -2, you'll trigger leader ability, and you discard a card to draw 2 cards. So you end up going net neutral on his play. Plus, you get your leader ability, so you can play him out, get a blocker on board, and hopefully draw some better stuff if you're not pulling what you need to be pulling. I run 3 of the OP09 Brooks. This is a card that's tacked in mostly for that Blackbeard matchup. It's really nice with his when attacking ability, so your on play doesn't get stopped. Um, you return 1 or more Dawn to your Dawn deck and choose up to 2 of your opponent's characters, and they get -2K power each. That doesn't stack. That is 2 characters with -2K power to each of them. Um, Really good to help into some of the Burgess swings, or if you've got this Brook on stage and you've got a Sanji in hand, um, you could minus some power on some things to make something in range to be rested with the Sanji. So that's very helpful. Other than that, 1K counter, nice to have. He's a 7K body, so he's pretty good to have out there on board. Um, Here's another one of your early game cards you want to see, running 4 of the OP09 Roronoa Zoro. On play, you may return 1 or more Dawn cards from play to your Dawn deck. Set up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck into play as active. Really good to have on that second turn. So if you don't have one in hand at the beginning, but you have a Trafalgar Law, you're probably going to want to pull this if you can pull it off of Searcher, because this will help you to get to um, your you'll get a turn ahead of your opponent if you're going second. If you go first, you'll catch up to your opponent. Um, it just really changes the pacing of the game. If you can get a second one of these out, on turn three, if you don't have anything else to play out, that's really nice too, because it just helps you ramp a little bit more. Plus, being a three cost 5K body, super good, low investment, um, big, big benefit out of that guy. Um, Next card is the OP09 Secret Monkey D Luffy, 9 cost, 10k power. Running 3 of these on play, you may return one or more Dawn cards from play to your Dawn deck, draw a card, and then this character gains Rush for the turn. Really, really nice, this card. Um, can just entirely change the game in that late game. Obviously, you are playing him for 9, minusing 2, so you have 1 Dawn active, then you minus 2, you get 1 more back as active and 1 is rested. So now you go from having just 1 extra Dawn as active to 2 Dawn to trigger leader ability if you want to put a Dawn onto him, or if you just want to tack some Dawn onto your leader to be able to swing for bigger bodies. Um, Really, really wild game changer with this guy. Another unique one that I particularly run that not a lot of people do run is the starter deck for Kaido. I run 3 copies of this. On play, Dawn -5. You'll KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less, and this character gains Rush during this turn. Um, Really, really nice. There are some times where opponents will have some stuff on the board that you need to get rid of, and maybe you're not seeing some of the other removal that's in this deck. But he can be good. He's again, being that 9 cost. You're gonna have that ability to rush. You're gonna -5 Dawn, but realistically, you're only going down 3 because of leader ability. Um, Super good. Obviously, this one's not searchable, but running 3 seems to make him pretty consistent, at least in my matches so far. Moving on from Kaido, we have the starter deck 18 Uso Hachi. 3 cost, 3k power. On play, if you have 8 or more Dawn, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Really nice in that late game if you are seeing some blockers on your opponent's side and you need to get them rested. You can play this guy out and then also play out the 7 cost Sanji Rusher to rest the second one if they have another low cost one. Um, Super good utility, super good late in, plus being a 2K counter. This card is just all around a very strong card. I think it's um, almost a necessity for purple decks, at least in today's meta. So moving on from those Ohachi, I run 4 copies of OP05 One-Legged Toy Soldier. Um, a 2 cost, obviously 0 power. He has a 2k counter, but he has an activate main. You may send this character to the trash, give it to one of your opponent's characters, cost -3. Really nice to get him established, to maybe bring a 9 cost character into range for your Kaido removal on the next turn. Um, I've debated taking him out and putting in Suru, which is a 1 cost -2. You can't retain that counter plus 2k. But being able to bring a 9 cost character into range to be KO'd by Kaido, I think it's just too powerful to sub him out for the Suru of bringing somebody down um, only by 2, so you'd only be able to get like an 8 cost into range of Kaido there. Moving on from him, we have 3 copies of the ST14 Sanji, the 5 cost 6,000 power. On play, if you cost 6 or greater character in play, K up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or lower characters. Really good card to get into this one. It can trigger itself off of your leader when he gets played. So if you have a Dawn on your leader, you play out this Sanji. He is a 6 cost at that point, therefore he will trigger his own on play, allowing you to KO a cost 5 or less. Um, Super good. I know a lot of the matchups right now are running a lot of low cost rushers and yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Bello Betty at my store. So having him here to uh, be able to deal with some of those low bodies is great. Even though we have some rush, we have some ability to rest some of that stuff. If they're kind of starting you out, not letting you get any of those rested, or if they're not swinging into you and they're just kind of building a board, this one helps you to be able to remove some of that. Then we go into some of the events. This is where a lot more of the removal comes in. Kind of a combo set here. We run 3 of the OP05 Gamma Knife, 2-cost event. You'll go down 1 Dawn, and you'll give up to one of your opponent's characters power minus 5k. Or if it hits in life, it's got a trigger, add up to 1 Dawn from your deck as active. Really nice to hit that one in life, especially if you're an early game. Again, it changes that pacing. It can be really good to hit in life if you're not seeing a Zoro or something like that. So, super beneficial. Good to have it. 3 copies has been pretty consistent. But the main combo for this goes into the 4 OP09 Gum Gum Lightnings I run, another 2-cost event. You'll go down another 2 Dawn with this, but this one will trigger leader ability if you've not done it yet this turn. Uh, when you minus those 2 Dawn, you KO one of your opponent's power 6,000 or lower characters. So you can see how that's really beneficial. I was playing some matches with one of my buddies, and he was running the 9-cost Yamato. I don't remember which. I think he was running a Sabo, red yellow Sabo build. Um, had some interesting tech in there. He had the 9-cost Yamato, and on 2 turns he played the 9-cost Yamatos, and I was able to get rid of it instantly. So big body, big threat removed because of this Gamma Knife Gum Gum Lightning combination. And then last but certainly not least, as you've seen with any kind of purple Luffy build right now, whether it's purple black or purple Luffy, or if you're playing on the sim like I do, you're seeing some green purples or blue purples. Just a lot of Luffy out there. They're all running OP09 Gum Gum Giant, 1-cost event, counter, Dawn -2, you trash 1 card from hand. If your leader's Straw Hat crew type, give up to one of your leader or characters plus 4k power for the battle, and then draw 2 cards. It's a net neutral card. It's 4,000 power. It's a little broken if you ask me. But while it's here, I'm going to use it. It has absolutely changed some matches. Obviously, you don't want to be using this one too early unless you're absolutely on the full defensive side, um, because you are going down 2. Because this is happening on your opponent's turn, you will not be triggering your leader ability, so it can set you behind in those Dawn turns. But that's where the Black Maria can come in handy, right? If you're having to use your Gum Gum Giants very early on because you are in a Bello Betty matchup, um, and you have a Black Maria on board, well, good news, you can just catch up to your opponent next turn. So that's a huge thing. That's a very good benefit. Um, Overall, I have been loving playing this leader. Um, there's definitely some room I think to improve. I've debated taking out the Brooks, putting in the OP05 kids for that extra bit of Dawn rampage. I just don't know that it's enough. Obviously, it's not searchable, whereas the Brook is. So you're not losing a lot, but you're kind of not gaining much either. Um, Again, fun deck. I'm having a blast with it. I want to build it out some more. I know there's some more support coming down the road here, not too long. So we'll see how things turn out. If you guys have suggestions, or you want to see any of the other decks I run, let me know down in the comments below. I'd be happy to do another one of these. And with that, thanks everyone. And remember, good luck and have fun. See ya.